Still typing going on.
Hey
Hello and
everyone.
welcome.
Go ahead. All right.
Hello and welcome to the Digital Experience Sprint Recap meeting. We're going to go over what we've worked on this release cycle ending today, the 22nd of April. Looks like first up is Tyler.
Yeah, so finished up the video component for the event template, and that includes both the featured video and the multiple video cards and the video carouseling feature. So it's a doozy, but super excited it's in there. Up next, we merged in some community contributions. Thanks again to the community for contributing. And these are specifically to unblock the migration path to Ruby 3.0 for the www about GitLab repository. So, which I was just talking to Barker a couple minutes ago, and I think we're gonna move forward on Ruby 3 migration on Monday, so that's super exciting. And I just did the review on these, and a couple other folks pitched in. I think Brandon took a look at the deprecated URI escape thing as well. So thanks for helping out. Finish up the event speakers block. That's the list of all the people speaking at the event and the show more. And then I'm also feeling optimistic about this isn't yet released, won't be released today, but the navigation for the events page is sort of the last piece of the puzzle for assembling the template entirely. And so I'm feeling really good about end of day tomorrow on those. Up next, I think, Barker.
All right. So the whole team created a Google Conversation slide deck and we presented on Wednesday, yesterday. It was awesome. Super nervous, but we did it and we're in the rotation. So we're going to get more of those. There will be about 3 a quarter. But super exciting. We closed out our Q1 fiscal year 22 OKR candidate tech debt improvement Webpack iteration. And this was the first one, and we got everything in Webpack, and that is our single asset pipeline. So just a really good thing for the team. And we have our follow-up iteration that we'll be working on in Q2 there. I did the event copy block component. And if you actually click on the show this there into Flippers, what was cool about this is we added a plugin that adds some base typography really nicely. And we might be able to implement those elsewhere. But it just does the copy blocks, which is cool. And if you go down to the click to tweet component in Slippers there, also updated this component and then made sure it was added to our blog post template. So now throughout the whole blog, you will see those click to tweet components. Fix the blog post H2 styling. There's a little bit of CSS that was forcing our H2 to be the same style as our H3s. So made that tweak in Slippers. And then that also forced us to bump Slippers to a new major version 9.0 in www. So launched that. Yep. And I've started the process of creating a handbook separation working group. And we'll be working towards separating the handbook out completely. This is in its very beginning stages, but we'll be looking to get that MR pushed and get our executive sponsors to sign off on that. And I'm optimistic about getting a second attempt out tomorrow for our deploy preview links to work with Netlify CMS. I'm going to be really focusing on that for the rest of today and tomorrow. And Tina's up next.
Thanks, Lauren. So aside from supporting with MR reviews, the sprint, which it was so helpful to leave time aside for that, I made some progress on the final phases of the prospect to free trials OKR that I've been working on for this quarter. I created a customer journey map, which is one of the other links in the document. This map basically looks at the top pages feeding free trials through to registration. The insights there come from analyzing some metrics that Niall pulled for us and from looking at the user testing sessions that Jess led. So next with this, I'll be creating some kind of documentation, probably a video and a Google Doc with some insights and recommendations for next quarter. Thanks. Next is Javi.
Thank you, Tina. I worked on updating a lot of our slippers documentation with our group conversation. Something that came out of that is our repository finally has a logo. Very exciting. Yeah, I essentially went through a lot of our existing content and used Hemingway. If you all are familiar with like the Hemingway app, it's I'm hearing a couple of no's. So Ernest Hemingway is like, American literature author. He's known for never using like adjectives and whatnot like in his writing, and so it's like essentially like a formatter that's like you put in things and then it'll let you know like, hey, like this sentence is confusing, like you're using this many adverbs, this many adjectives, and essentially it's just like it helps with the clarity and keeping like simple sentences as much as possible. Maybe we can like even say that like, hey, as we write documentation, we should like avoid the use of complex sentences in our docs.
I used this for the blog post and it was a huge help. So
yeah.
It's
I think it helps with like, yeah, especially with clarity and whatnot. So that was something that I went off and did. And I tried to push that before our group conversation. And I think some of it got pushed out beforehand. So if people clicked on slippers after, they should have seen like all of those changes. Up next, I worked on MVC, MR, navigation situation. I was trying to highlight the fact that I fixed a bug on the plane. Unfortunately, there are merge conflicts and that I forgot to account for, but take my word for it, I fixed like some bugs that we were dealing with on that. And this MR has gotten like really big, as you've seen, in the future, I think we should break this apart just because it's gotten pretty involved. But I'm going to try to get through that merge before this Friday. Because I think that there's a lot of changes that we want to work on that, but if we keep increasing the scope, it's just going to be impossible to merge. So get that merged and then continue to iterate on that. DevSecOps survey Figma, if you can click on that. That's something that one of our partners is working on. Shout out to Matt Selleck, who worked on the desktop version of this. I just went ahead and made like the mobile version of it. I also wanted to call out that this is like something that's happening, so that the team knows that this is a page that needs to go out. Yeah, and I think this is kind of important just because this looks very different from like past years. If Brandon, you can pull up past years, I believe you can like, yeah, I think because you worked on it, I had a feeling like you could find it easily. And if you can't, it's fine. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this is like a complete departure from this style. And this is to reach alignment more so with slippers. And yeah, that's it for me. Up next, we have Laura.
Yeah, I made a quick quick update to our events page for KubeCon, which is one of the satellite events happening for commit. That was a quick update that we made to this existing commit page, but soon someday we'll be able to do that with Netlify and slippers, which is all very exciting. So yeah, that is fine. And then I have I added code review guidelines to our digital experience handbook page. It's just, yeah, that quick little kind of blurb. Feel free to take a look and change and edit. This is just kind of what I gathered from our last retro about when to set expectations for code reviews. And I also, Sid reached out on Slack and mentioned that there was a banner that was not dismissible on a page he was looking on. And that banner was appearing in 2 different places. So we replaced it with this banner. It's not slippers yet, but at least it's dismissible. It's used in other places in the site. So a quick update for that. Yeah, I worked on a few slippers blocks for the events template, the countdown block and the partner block. partner block, I may have shown a preview of last iteration. Countdown block is there live showing the countdown. And yeah, the partner block is just a little bit updated so that each of the tiers shows a slightly smaller image, like they're scaled down by 10% as you go down the tiers. So a little bit of an improvement there. And other than that, I made a few updates to the blog template. These don't really, there's not much to see because it's a lot of removing things that shouldn't have been there. But yeah, worked on removing some extra newsletter, a little newsletter blurb that was showing up where it shouldn't have been, and have been making some merch banner, merch sidebar changes with the confetti so that it doesn't cover certain elements on the page. So those will be live soon. And next up is Sanmi.
Thank you, Laura. So the first thing that I will talk about is the iteration that we did on our install GitLab page. Oh, I noticed that Brandon is trying to get a page. Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. So the previous page was confusing our users because we are telling them to install GitLab for free and we are still telling them to try it for 30 days because we just matched everything together. So people are getting a little bit confused. So we have to quickly do something about that, and where I actually used the person that. Yes, thank you very much. That's the old page. That's how it looks like. Install self-managed, try ultimate GitLab for 30 days. Which one do you want us to pick? We're very, very confused. So right now we have to clarify that out to separate them into two sections. So that one is out right now, published. And the second thing that I worked on was to fix a lot of broken link images scattered across our webpage. This was reported by Neil. Neil is our analyst, our data analyst that is going through our Google Analytics, and he provided this spreadsheet. So we use this spreadsheet to go through every single image that is broken on our web pages and fixed them. And thanks to Brandon and Lauren Baker for supporting on that mail request. Thank you very much. And the next one is on Snippets UI. I created a block card with images. So these are one of the components that was built by Tina and Jesse and Steven. And the view you have right now is where we have all cards so that you can actually see how all the cards will look like in production version. So two of them were created, all the block card with images and the resource card with images, and they are pushed live. Thanks to Avi for supporting on this during the week. And I think that's it for now. And the next person right now will be Jesse.
Yeah, so actually shout out to Sanmi for reminding me to finish out this featured partner page, Hi-Fi template. It is AWS, and then we'll kind of just use that and copy and paste all the great assets that Matt made for us for each different partner. And then the second thing, I try to get rid of the, there you go. Yeah, the second thing on there is the pricing page update 1.4. It is mostly copy changes, a little bit of visual hierarchy going on. So you can kind of see that like starts like free is smaller, premium is like middle size, and ultimate is the largest. Just kind of giving viewers a quick glance. They can see like, you know, which one is the most. And we worked with Sid and Todd on these copy changes, and I think we're going to push them out for Monday. And that's it for me. Brandon, are you up next?
So this will be fun talking and driving the screen at the same time here. I've clicked on the wrong thing already, off to a good start. And I clicked again on the wrong thing. Okay, so here we go. First item, we released the German localization landing page here. It looks like all the other localization pages except translated into German with German resources. So yeah, that got released at the start of the sprint. And similarly, I did some work on localization. Hanif pointed out, or I think it was Hanif, well, it was Niall and Hanif working together, pointed out that we had some work to do with our hreflangs attribute in the HTML. So if you're not familiar, that tells you when you're on a page that there is another version of it in a different language. So it's a signal to search engines, you know, where to find content appropriate for the people searching for it. So we got that updated. And then that was a small little merge request that went pretty quickly. And then got some documentation done for our team, we noticed that it was unclear exactly where to go to request support from our team. There was a link on the inbound marketing page and the digital experience page and the website page, and they all had different information. So what I did is I created an include that linked all 3 pages with the same information, and also clarified a little bit how to set yourself up for success, and consolidated the issue templates so that there were previously, I think, 4 different templates to get help from digital experience, and I consolidated them into one, and tried to also reduce the number of questions to make it easier to request help from us. And then, like just mentioned, we've been working on the pricing page, and I guess I linked the wrong thing there. So I will not show that, but just know that we're working on it and hope to get it end of this release cycle / early into the next release cycle. So yeah, looking for that. And looks like next up is Stephen.
Yeah, my OKR yet again. I've worked on some decision trees. So the first one has got a little bit of work in progress in it. There's some small edits that need to be done. Oh, sorry, you need access. Pardon me, I'll change that. Same again. Yeah, same again. Pardon me on that one. But a lot of back and forth on figuring this out, a lot of thinking. So yeah, getting these in a good spot as we get ready for Q2, and then start to work on some actionable items from there on out. As you can see from the issue itself, there's a lot of chatter in there. So there's a lot of things to debug, I guess. Yeah, that's me.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. That's been a good sprint, and wrap it up and talk to you next time. Later.